I'll introduce our speaker. So, Mike Wigley, known fondly to all as Wiggles, is a ginger giant who always stood out in Rossland. From his inspiring pursuits and dedication to a life lived in the mountains, to his work as a splitboard guide, he's a man who's already lived a lifetime of remarkable adventures. And he's here tonight to share the tales with us all. He moved to Rossland in 2005 and began splitboarding shortly thereafter in 2007. During the 13 years when he called Rossland home, he was never as captivated by a peak in the Kootenays as he is by Old Glory. He considers Old Glory to be an old friend and can't wait to share with you the times he shared with that very special peak. So, without further ado, Wiggles.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is so great to do these again, have these live talks, and be able to share these stories. Like, especially since COVID, it's been a pause on these kind of, social gatherings. So it's nice to have everyone here and share these stories. So yeah, as we were just saying, like I came to Rossland in 2005 and gone to splitboarding backcountry touring in 2007. And I was always captivated by Old Glory. You see it from all different angles, whether it's like driving on the highway or from the ski hill. And as well, just before I get into this, it's been a bit since I've done a big social talk. So if I stutter my words or go back and forth, just bear with me. I'm really just going off my mind here. So Old Glory, very captivating peak. And so I spent a lot of time in the rosin range, just kind of touring around the trees. There'd be a lot of good tree skiing. Rosin range is one, from my experience, one of the best ski touring areas to really grow and start as a beginner, intermediate ski tourer. There's lots of access, lots of great terrain to ski, and it's for avalanche conditions. It's pretty manageable until you get to this old girl, and she keeps you at bay. And I remember when I was touring, I would just stare at it. There's so many times I would just stare at this peak, and it would take me years of just gaining the experience and confidence to go up it. And then we can go to the next slide. And then so just a little history of Old Glory. This is the weather station, and behind it is the Forestry Station. So this was up there between the 40s to the 60s, and that's where they gathered the weather information for, I forgot what Air Canada used to be called, but it was for Air Canada. And so the people would stay up there for 2 weeks at a time, or depending whatever their shift may be, and just survive the weather up there, whether it's storming or thunderstorming or whatever it may be. And then we'll go to the next slide. And so I found it really cool that as well, that highway from Rossland to Nancy Green, that wasn't put in until the 60s. So they actually had to go from Rossland to access it using trails, horseback, and ski. And so a lot of the food got brought there from the horses and the horseback, and then I forget how much food they had in it, but they had a ton of food. I think literally a ton. And all brought on horseback for them to survive in the wintertime. And we can go to the next one. So this is kind of the path that they would take to gain there. And I've always been captivated by this. I've always been captivated by the work that was put in to get out there and just to do that job. And I've always been I wish I actually lived in that era. And because I feel that'd be the perfect job for me. Just live up on Old Glory and just watch weather. And then we'll just go back. And then so as you can see, they would make their way through and then gain up onto the necessary ridge here. And there's an old cabin there. And so if they couldn't make it to Old Glory one day, they would camp there and then make it to the next day. And now we can go to the next slide. So I was always captivated by Glory, and the only time, my first time going after it was in the summertime. It was in June, and I was just well, if I'm going to experience Glory, I'd rather travel it with really safe conditions and then ski the north side of it. So we can go to the next one. So scouting it from the road there, it looked really good in conditions, and we were pretty stoked to go after it. then we can go to the next one. And then so this is getting up onto Glory. I'm just getting a good feel. I'm like, look at, this is me way back in the day. Like this is like 2009. I'm wearing sweatpants and a shirt. I don't even know if I have a backpack. I'm just like, just carrying things. Actually, I do have a big backpack, but I don't think I rode with it. And then we'll go into the next one. And then so there's up in the Forestry Station. And I believe all this actually is painted over again. I think they repainted it. And, but I had to leave my mark up there. And so we'll go on to the next one. And so it's really cool, like, you're like seeing this in the summertime, like, they call this old relic. Like, we have old cans where they used to, like, they call the goat chutes, like the mine shaft, but they just used to just hot garbage and whatever it may be down there. So in the summertime, you'll find a lot of random stuff in there, which is pretty cool. And we'll go to the next one. So you can see like an old ladder here. And yeah, just a bunch of cool debris. So yeah, this is June. It's pretty sun-cuppy and rocky, and it was pretty kind of firm snow, but it was pretty fun. And we can go to the next slide, jibbing around. And actually, while on this, my buddy actually had a crazy incident where you know, super fresh to this summer kind of skiing. And he actually went for a good slide, like his edge just skipped out and he just slid and ended up hanging up onto a rock. I wish I could have found that photo because it was kind of funny. He was just like fully downhill like this, just like stuck on the rock, like, you need to come help me. And so I went down and unbuckled him and gone back on his board. And then we can go to the next one. And then this is where I learned a really good experience here. I definitely should have just booted back up the snow, but instead we went through this crazy rocky jungle there of like, we didn't have a backpack either, so we're like passing our boards to each other and just slowly rock climbing up this. Then we can go to the next slide, and yeah, we had to make our way over this crazy rock area, and I definitely realized like, yeah, I don't recommend that side to go up. And then we gained back up to the top, and we can go to the next slide. And then as we got back down to town, looking back at our lines. And then so with that trip, it was like quite captivating of an experience to finally go up to a place I've stared at for so many years, and just to feel like for myself when it comes to like the mountains, like. I really get pulled into the energy and like the feeling of the mountains. Like there's 3 mountains in my life that I've experienced that have really captivated me, where I just can't like stop going to it. And that's Old Glory and Mount Baby in Revelstoke and Mount Shasta down in California. They've all just honed me in and just made me feel like I just want to spend as much time as I possibly can. And then so we'll go into the next slide. And then so after that, I started being like, okay, I feel comfortable going up there in the wintertime now. And started experiencing it and started figuring out the different lines that you can ski on Glory. And then we'll go to the next one. So I started getting amongst it with the friends, traveling around, riding like the east side. And then this is on Record Ridge there. And just looking back at Glory, you can just start seeing all the different lines that you can ski on it. And we'll travel to the next one. And then so we started exploring Old Glory. And the cool thing in the Rossland range is the rock inspectors. You get to see those like so much, because what happens is like once the cloud layer is like with the Kootenays, you get like the Kootenay Sea, where the mountains they'll stick out just above the cloud layer. We're getting inversions. And then so in the wintertime, when the sun is at the right elevation, your shadow will actually cast on these clouds. And it happens a lot on Mount Flumen and Old Glory. And so it's really cool to get those moments. I think you and I have had those moments. And then, so we'll go over. And then so the cool thing with Glory, it's like, it's not like you just walk to Glory. You gotta go to different, you gotta climb different peaks to get there, whether it's going through like the Handy Creek drainage, or going through Flumen, or coming from Kirkup, coming from the ski hill. There's different ways to access it. So the cool thing with exploring Glory is you get to explore all these different ways to get there. And we'll go on to the next one there. And so you can start linking up these like really cool trips where it's like riding different variances and connecting them. We can go to the next one. And so, and then these are just different moments of glory and just kind of staring at, whether it's like with the sun setting on the west wall there. And then I've also been there in December, and as you can see, the shadow casting down towards trail. And when I experienced like that moment, it was just like so cool. We definitely came out in darkness from there, and it took a long time, but it was really cool just to have that experience and just be like sitting up there and just be like, whoa, that's so cool, like that triangle feature. And then so we started really exploring the north side. And so this one line is called the Goat's Throat. It's one of the more cooler lines that you can ride off of there. It's a really steep couloir with a little bit tight entrances here and there. And this was December. This is when I really got to explore it in powder conditions and get some cool lines off of it. And we'll travel to the next one there. And then the station. Like the station is so cool in itself, of just being able to like go up there and just sit in this building and just look away at the mountains. And the cool thing with Glory is that you're higher than any mountain in the area. So it really gives you that full 360 view. And it's just super captivating. And then, so yeah, we'll travel to the next shot. And that's just getting like amongst the Forest Station, really enjoying it. I've slept in that station a lot of times, whether it's mostly spring and summer. Winter time, it's really hard to get into. It's pretty caked in rime. And then, so this is exploring like Plumen area and just like, just getting the cool connections of going from Glory and then exiting out. And then that's the old igloo. There's a new igloo that's built. But we used to sleep in that thing so much, and you're not supposed to, but we did. And yeah, we just explored tons. And we'll travel to the next. And then that's another one with the rock inspector. Like it comes out a lot, and you get to experience some really cool moments when that happens. And we'll travel to the next one. So this is just like really just getting the feels. And then, so anyone that wants to go and explore Glory, you get to have a lot of different cool runs. It's not just Glory itself. And we'll travel to the next. And then just as exiting out the cut block and getting back to the road. And we'll travel to the next. And then we've had like really amazing times, but I've also had accidents and stuff that go down. And so I just want to also really illustrate that it's serious. I've been like touring for 14 years now, and I've gone through a few different incidents, but we'll go to the next slide. So we're up on Old Glory here, and I brought my buddy Troy up, and he's never been on Glory, like he's never hiked in the summertime or anything like that, so I was like super excited to bring him up here. My buddy Tyler's with me as well. He's the one that took that photo. So we're up there checking out the conditions, again, a feel of everything. And I'm looking on the north side. They're still right here facing the front of the weather station. I was on the back side looking over, checking out a line, checking out the snow conditions. And I was getting all pumped up. And then my buddy Tyler comes around and he's like, you got to come out here, you got to check this out. And I was like, oh, sweet. Maybe he saw like, I don't know, a cool feature or a cool line to ski. I come over and there's blood all over the snow. And I was just like, whoa, okay, what the heck just happened? Like I literally just left for 5 minutes and came back, and now it's like a bloodbath here. And my buddy Troy here, he was fixing his binding. He had like I forgot what it was, a zap shaft or something like that. And he was cutting it with a knife and he slipped and actually ended up slicing his hand and slicing open his artery. And it started bleeding profusely. And so we'll go to the next slide. So I had to go into first aid mode, and I didn't have like a tourniquet at the time. And actually I was pretty, I had maybe like a 40-hour wilderness first aid course under my belt this time. And I was kind of like, not really 100% sure what to do. And I wasn't sure if I should like tourniquet his arm or whatnot. But so what I did is just like got as much dressings and and just applied pressure and literally just held his hand up for like an hour or so. And thank goodness Tyler could get cell reception and could call in a heli. And then we'll go to the next slide. And then so these two actually came up ski touring, and lucky enough were able to help us out and get everything situated that we need to, and just no extra hands. And then so the next slide, we got the heli in, and it came in from trail, came in really quick. And so we're able to get him over there into the heli and then down to trail. And then the unfortunate thing was, like, you know, he was so excited to get up to Old Glory, and he didn't get to ski the run. He just literally got the fastest flight you could get from Glory to trail, and he was down there in like a couple minutes and right into the ER. And so luckily everything worked out well. Like, we had conditions to fly, and we were able to get him on. And then Tyler and I, like, it was just such a fast incident, you know, like lots of stuff going on, and then like Troy's gone, and then we're like, okay, like, what do we want to ski? Like, now we're kind of thrown off here, like we don't feel exactly comfortable. And so we ended up just skiing like the east side of it and making our way down. It was still good turns, but we didn't feel comfortable, of course, because one of our good buddies just got thrown off the mountain. And then we'll go to the next slide. So, and then we come into the springtime. And spring, great time to go ski there. And then just so for a little just knowledge of what this area is. So we have like the goat's throat that just comes off like right here and spits out. This is a cool like line feature that's lower down the ridge, and then these are like just known as like the goat chutes, just coming off the ridge line. And so yeah, we were like skiing these, had a really good shred here. And then so the best way to like leave, you can either boot back up the north or come up the west wall and exit up onto a ridge line there. And so that's the way we were going. And it was pretty warm. It being the west wall, like it gets baked in the afternoon sun. So we can go to the next slide. So we're booting up to this is really cool, like Egyptian face. And so we're booting like underneath this this face here. And underneath this is rock, of course. And so like this is like the bottom here, and then this is where the abbey kind of pulled out on me. And then so we were booting up. It wasn't like the best conditions to ski. It was pretty like sloppy, and so it was actually kind of better to boot pack. It was a little bit easier, and we're going towards the rocks. And I totally just had my head down, not really paying attention. Like, we're just going to get up, and this is another good learner lesson. And so as I was coming up, I heard it like pop, and since I was booting, like I was up to like I think I was like around here, in my knees, kind of penetrating the snow, and it was enough to just like hit me and then pull my back. But I was more concerned with my buddies that were booting behind me because with the force that came, and I was actually able to hold it, which was actually kind of surprising because it was so thick and sluggish that I was able to actually like hold the slab here, but it had so much like force on me that like it was bending my back. And like my buddies were right there and able to like dig me out quite quick, but I was up to my waist, I think. And so and then just coming out, I was kind of like, oh well, that was a learner lesson, learned something on that one. And then going back to the original trip, now we have this wall. We actually climbed up this. That's what we went up when I was showing those like original pictures, and then I don't recommend it. It's quite steep and it's quite gnarly in the summertime. And then so like that was like two like good incidents that kind of went down. And after these kind of scenarios, I really switched my mind of how I'm going to operate in the backcountry. Like, I need to arm myself with good first aid and really know what to do if something goes wrong. And then also just learn more. Like, learn more about snow conditions, learn more about slab properties, and just learn really how to travel in the backcountry efficiently and be safe. And so really switch, like, it's kind of one of those things where you got to learn the hard way. And sometimes you need a wake-up call. And like when I first started touring the Rossland range, there wasn't really any splitboarders. Maybe two other of us. And so I really was learning on the go and learning on the fly. And so yeah, so after this, when I was walking out, I really remember being like, I need to change. Like, I can't just feel like everything's going to work for like a reason. And I've now changed my mindset that you have to be like a detective out there. Like, you have to go out with the mindset that you're looking for problems. And you're trying to make yourself have all these yeses before, and if a no comes up, then it's like, turn around, like it's day's over, or change up your plans or whatever it may be. But I feel like the best way to move in the backcountry is just act like a detective and like find problems, find things that are going wrong in the backcountry, or just make note of it and just have fun winning. That's like the best part of it. It's not really about like big line riding, or like, it's really just about experiencing mountains for what they are. And we'll go to the next one. And now like, when I was going back into the start of the presentation talking about history, I was always obsessed with how they traveled there. So I started to want to be like I've gone from the road, and now I want to go further. Like, I want to change up how you can actually access glory. And so we'll go to the next slide. So I came up with this kind of plan. So my good buddy Ian Stibbe, he always had this like super tour, he called it. So you would, this was before Gray Chair was in there, and you'd go and ski Roberts, and then you would ski Record, and ski Gray, and then Kirk up, and then out. And it was like such a cool tour, and like you were able to get a lot of cool skiing, a lot of cool differences. And then I decided in my head, it's like, what if you just went for the whole Rossland Range in one day? And then so that's what I built in my head, and I started just figuring out all the different zones before I put them all together. And the first time I did it, I actually tried it solo. And so we can go to like the next slide. So this is kind of like the Rossland Range traverse. And so I don't actually start from anywhere low. What I actually did was catch the last chair, and I go up and I go to Record Ridge and then camp up there. So that's where I can like just get, as soon as the sun hits the east wall there, so you can start fresh, like right with the sun, and ride it. And then before what I actually did, before tackling that traverse, was I went and put all the skin tracks that I needed. And then so when I actually went for it, I didn't need to break trail, I didn't need to do anything, I just needed to go. And I attempted it first, as I was saying, solo, and I made it to Plumen. And then I had like, I didn't have a vehicle at all, so I was hoping or relying on hitchhiking to get out of there. And so I was on Plumen, and I had like an hour left of light, and I was just like, I still had Elgood and Lepso to do, so I already had like 11 peaks. Was it 11 peaks? 9 peaks? 9 peaks, I think, done. And then so I was like, ooh, should I go for it now, or should I wait? And also the other thing was I had the best snow conditions I think I've ever experienced. Like every north aspect skied so well that I was just like, this is working so well. And then I was in that mindset. I was like, I could finish this in the dark, and maybe someone would pick me up, or I can leave now and like exit out Woodland and get down to there and hitch out. And then so I went for that idea, and I was able to catch a ride, but I wasn't able to finish like the journey that I started. So the next year, I got into my buddy Logan's head, and then so we'll go to the next slide. And then so we went up and set up our base camp, and it was a little bit more warm. And so like the best time to do this is the last week that Red is operating, because you need the chairs to be able to whip yourself up. And as well, you need the light. So it's kind of like pretty much the only time I attempt this is like the last week that it's open. So we had our tent set up and all of our gear, and then what we do is just break everything down and hide it under a tree, and then make our moves. And so we had to go just with light packs. And then we'll go to the next one. And just having a good old campfire. And then my buddy Brad decided to join us. He never splitboarded before. And he's like, I'm gonna join you guys. Like, I'm so stoked. Like, let's do this. And I'm just like, okay, you can see what happens. And so yeah, we're having a great time. And we'll go to the next slide there. And so this is like waking up. That's okay, the backside okay, and then like Robert's on the left-hand side. And so this is dropping off record. And so that was like the first run. It's like so beautiful to just wake up and literally drop in with the sun, lighting up your run. And then we go to the next one, and then this is okay. You got Rossland in the background. Don't mind the crappy quality. The only way I could find these photos was from Facebook, and then so a lot of my photos got deleted accidentally. And then so this is just like okay. So we started like ripping through this, and then we go to the next one. Then we have a lot of photos of a lot of we're just moving so quickly. And then we'll go to the next slide. So this is all in Old Glory. This is my good buddy Logan that did the traverse with me. And it was such a cool bush, and we were able to finish the traverse and complete it. And we did it in 13 hours, and it was a lot of riding, a lot of touring, and it was so funny. We got down to the shovel, and we're so excited to celebrate, and I've never been so dehydrated in my life. Like, we're trying to enjoy our burgers and our beer, we're just like, it's so dry. It's like, I can't even enjoy this. And we had such bad trench foot, and trying to remember what else. We were pretty haggard after that, but it was good. And then onto the next one. And then this is just some imagery of like going like the east side and then just riding Flumen, just to kind of give ideas of all the kind of different runs that you can ski linking up these mountains. And onto the next. And then we got the old moon dropping off Flumen. And this is off Flumen, just finishing off the last three runs. And then we'll go to the next one. And then we had to finish it actually in darkness. But we had a vehicle drop this time, so it was easy to get out. Or did we call it? But yeah, it was pretty fun to shred in the darkness. And actually, these are imageries from a different time. But I just wanted to kind of show like how we left. And it was kind of funny because I remember like Logan and I were on top of Letzo, and we're like chatting. We're like, okay, we're gonna like ski this. We just have to go through the forest, and it'll be all awesome. And I remember just like falling off this like windlet and just in like mid conversation with them, like, yeah, it looks good. Just totally just fell. And then move on to the next one. And then this one was where I wanted to really do a mix of history here with Old Glory. And so I made an attempt to go from Rossland all the way to Old Glory. And so I left, I think I was staying at your house, Andy, when I did this. And I left and went up Roberts first, skied Roberts, and then went over to Record. And my goal is actually to connect it from Record to Old Glory. That's still something I really want to do, and I still haven't done it yet. And so I tried to attempt to ride the northeast side of Record and make my way into that drainage. And it was June when I tried to do this. And as I was making my way down the river, it just became quite a scenario. Like the river was like just just rapidly flowing, rushing.
Raging.
Yeah, raging. It was raging. And then there's logs all over the place, and there's crazy mosquitoes. And I was just like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. Like I'm literally just getting just like really sloppy snow. And then so I decided to like, okay, I'm gonna switch and tour up and try to gain elevation. And I actually ended up skiing back to the ski resort. And so I ended up on up towards Gray. And I remember just before I got out of the forest and I was going up, and I looked back and I was just like, wait, why is Old Glory getting smaller? And I was like, I'm supposed to be going towards it, and now it's like super far away. And so I decided to stay at the Gray Lift Hut. And I was so stoked because I actually found a tall can of beer there. And I was like so excited because I was like, I wasn't happy with myself. I was like, I just wasted a day just literally in that drainage trying to like figure out how to connect it. And I was also solo too. And so, as you know, I do try a lot of these things solo just because I sometimes don't want to drag people through my crazy mind. spots. And then so I stayed up there and I was like contemplating in my head, I'm like, should I go to glory or should I just go home? Like, how do I feel? And I decided to wake up in the morning and I felt good. And then so we'll go to the next shot. And then so this is kind of looking back. And then this is top of Old Glory. It's June, like I was saying. Like, I know not many people ski in June, definitely in the Rossland range, but I do. I just don't really stop. And so this is what I was trying to connect, like going from Roberts and then up Record, and then coming down this drain just so I could come up this. But as I got in there, it just got really tight and really thick. But you know, sometimes I feel like struggle brings rewards. And I was gifted probably the best gift that I had on Old Glory on this trip. And so when I got up there, I was by myself, and I was greeted, you can go to the next slide, with a friend. This goat. This goat stayed with me literally the whole time I was there. I spent the night on top of Old Glory, I slept up there, and the goat was with me the whole time. And it really, well, maybe you realize why the goat chutes are called the goat chutes. It's because there's a goat that lives up there. And, but I had this friend, and it was really cool. Like, I skied the goat chutes too, and he was like watching me, and I just felt like I had this like a friend just looking over me, and it was really cool. And then when I left, like, so this is actually taken inside the weather station or the forestry station. And yeah, the goat was checking out my gear, like, okay, so that's how you move in the mountains. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then this bottom one is in the morning, and just when I was walking away, the goat just his last little goodbye with me. And then we'll go to the next shot, and then just like skiing the goat chutes here, and it was really cool to just have like the goat watching me. And this is like a self portrait shot, I shot that myself, and. Yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. And then I had to like work my way back to the resort. And so I was actually able to link all the way, actually in June, be able to ski all like the cat roads of the resort and get right back to Rossland. And I think I went to the next place to drop off my gear. And then, so we'll just go back to that one shot. And then, so these are all these different trips that I've kind of like connected and figured out and kind of got like a feeling for. And then now this is kind of like I experienced mine, and now I want other people to experience it. Like when you're so captivated by something, you want everyone to get a feeling of it. So my good friend Morgan at the time, which is now my partner, it was her birthday, and she didn't really know, or we were trying to figure out what a good plan was, and I was like, let's go camp. And so we went up onto a necessary ridge. We go into the next shot here. And so we toured up, we have our big packs. It was Morgan's birthday, so we wanted to bring absolutely like everything that we could have. We had like cake, and we had books, and I don't even forget, we had champagne, and we had pancakes, and a whole bunch of different stuff.
We were so mad we brought so much shit in here.
Yeah, like this was in May as well, that we went up, and then we slept on top of a necessary ridge, which is absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend it. Like, you have such captivating views all around you. And then in the summertime, or in the spring too, it's really warm. So you get the last little bit of light too, because like on the other side is west facing, so you get quite a long amount of sun, which is good. And then we'll go to the next shot. And then so this was just a little camp out zone, and getting a good feel for it, watching the sun set. And this is the Rossland range too, to get like a feeling of traveling across all that to connect to glory. And then onto the next shot. And so this was the morning, waking up, very, very beautiful. And this is looking towards the east, so that'll be, I think this is like towards the Valhalla, or I'm not too sure exactly. Anyways. My brain's trying to figure out, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll go to the next one. And then so this is waking up, morning view. So this is the east wall of Old Glory, and just being captivated. And then with this journey though, there was a little bit of a time constraint because it was warm, and then so we had a little bit of pressure to get up to Glory and ski the east face before we got too sun smacked. And we actually ended up watching slides later in that day. But we got up there early, and this was on your birthday, Morgan. Yeah, it was. And then, so yeah, got to ski the east face, and we'll go on to the next one. And then I actually ended up getting some pretty good turns. It was pretty wet, but it was good fun. And then we had friends, and then we could go to the next shot, and then we had friends that came up and joined us, and just really brought in the good energy, and the good feel, and the good love. And I'm not sure she's doing, but it's fun. And then we'll go on to the next shot there, and then just, this is like our last day, and just having such a good feel, fun, and just enjoying it, like just really immersing yourself in nature and the mountains, and just disappearing, not just say disappearing, but just really being together in a natural setting where you're away from all the technology and stuff that we have nowadays. Like, it's so nice to just go away and get quiet. And then on to the last one is my mom. And this was pretty much one of my favorite trips that I got to do with her. I'm from Ontario, and my mom's never hiked a mountain in her life before. And so when she came out, like, my whole goal was just like, I want to bring my mom up to Old Glory. And she knew how captivated I was with Old Glory, that she was just like, I want to do this, I want to climb it, so we're going to do whatever way we can. She had, I think, like a week or 10 days to come out, and then so we decided to slowly build our way up to it. First going up KC with Emily's kids, and then so we were able to go up that, and I think that was Isaac's first time actually walking by himself. And then we went up Red Mountain next, and slowly built that up. And then after that, I think we went to like Fletcher Falls for a little bit more of a smaller little walk, because you don't want to build. And then we went for Old Glory, and she was just totally like, I'll do whatever you say, like, we're just going to hike up this, and she's really scared of heights, and so she has this like brim hat, and she kept it like low down to her head, just kind of like walk. She's like, I know, I just want to look at your feet, that's all I care about, like, I don't want to like stare around. And then we got to the top, and as you can see, I have my split. And so I was actually hoping to ski the goat chute and have my mom watch, but it wasn't in. And so I'm like, oh, like, please don't ski this. And then yeah, so it was really just amazing, just bringing her up there. And so really that kind of like concludes my Old Glory kind of talk. It's just like, I just kind of want to finish like, when something really captivates you and really makes you like happy and has like a special place in your heart, share it with all the people that you love and appreciate and want to be in your life, because that's what it's all about. Like, I did a lot of stuff solo, and solo stuff is fun, but I have a lot more fun bringing the people I love up to these areas. And then, so that concludes. And then hit me up with any questions. I definitely, like right now, we have a little Q&A, if anything like you questioned on there, or anything. Or if not, we can just enjoy this moment with my mom and dad.
I got a question.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the next crazy Rossland Range Old Glory adventure? What's the next one?
Well, I still want to connect record to Glory. Like, that's still like a huge one I love to do, and I want to do that one a little earlier. Like, say if you did like in April, and actually can ride that drainage all the way down. But for the most part, like, I just like to visit it every year now. I don't really have like too much. I feel like I got like a lot of it. Actually, I wouldn't mind doing the Rossland Range Traverse and the qualities I did it the first time. I wouldn't mind doing that again, because the time Logan and I did it was really wet and it was not the best. It was kind of that's why I got such bad trench foot. So yeah, go for it. Or are you just stretching?
Oh,
You got a question now. No, it's all good, yeah.
what's your preferred method to get to the peak there? Like you pack up or you going around?
Like going up the east face? Yeah, I definitely like booting up the east face. Like if it's in condition, it's so much quicker because it's like 45 minutes up or like an hour and a half around the south. But it all depends on the quality and the conditions. But going up the east face is so cool too because you kind of get that, you don't really get too exposed in the rosin range, so it gets you exposed, which is whatever. Yes.
How long did it take you and your mom to get up?
I think it was 8 hours round trip. Maybe 8 to 9 hours. Yeah, she did. Actually, I was quite surprised. Like she crushed it. Yeah. I'm a little mom. I'm proud of her. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. I really appreciate it. Really cool just to have these again, and I hope we're able to more have these connections as we grow and over this COVID world that we live in now. Thank you.